Amend the Mass Media Group is California Capital's premier YouTube channel focused on reparations, dedicated to political advocacy and unapologetically aimed at shining a spotlight on our righteous justice claim for reparations. Tune in to ETM Media Group YouTube channel Tuesdays at 9 p.m. PST.
We do show intros, show outros, voiceover, script copy, 15 and 30-second promos. Check us out at etnmediagroup.com. That's etnmediagroup.com for more info and updates and to get involved.
Hashi Squirrel Low.
Hashi Squirrel Low. What's up, family? Hope all is well with everyone. Yeah, we just didn't just come back, but we did have a meeting in the Bay Area, Oakland. That was a success. So shout out to Chris for doing a wonderful job in hosting and being a wonderful guest to all the participants that were there. I thought it was a success. I thought everybody who did have comments gave some great feedback. Don Tamaki, who is part of the California Task Force, was there, did show up and gave an excellent, from his point of view, where he thought this reparations task force could go. And if nobody has seen the video yet, it's on our YouTube channel right here on Amend the Mass Media Group. So go check that out. Please like, share, and subscribe. And also, we will not be having the phone lines open tonight, but if someone would like the phone lines open, please leave a comment in the chat box and we will open the phone lines up. But outside of that, we're pretty much going to be just doing the news and review and calling it a wrap because we've just been really busy over the last weekend, and we are probably going to be showing you some upcoming shows that we have.
All right. Did you want to do that before or after?
Let's see what we got coming up in the following weeks. Let's do that before we actually go in the news. Let the fam know.
Cool.
All right, so next week we're actually going to be talking about HR 3684, the federal bill that's, I guess they're calling it the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. So that's what we're going to be going over. It's a huge document. So Kim and I, and hopefully Chris and CEO, are actually going to be going through, digging some things out from that particular bill to highlight. The document's over 1,000 pages. So that's going to be fun, but we're going to try to parse things out so, we can make it in layman terms for everybody and ourselves. But so far, what I've read, I did see some like minority stuff in there, a lot of people of color, etc. so far. So, but we're going to get deeper into it next week. That's what we're planning on doing. And then for we have our wonderful brother Tobias Prophet Smith, who was the co-producer. I believe he was one of the executive producers, and we have to confirm, but I think his dad was also part of the documentary. So father and son team, that's excellent. I work with my dad as well, and it's a great experience when you have family, doing your stuff. So he and his dad created a documentary called The Cotton Picking Truth, still on the plantation, which I believe is still on Amazon Prime. So if anybody has access to Amazon Prime, I highly recommend you watching that documentary.
Yeah, it's a real eye opener on modern day peonage, and the effects that it still has today. And then you might as well mention the upcoming task force meeting. The next 2-day task force meeting is going to be December 8th and 9th. So be sure to tune in to ETM Media. We always stream those meetings live. They're also available through the DOJ Blue Jeans app.
Yeah, definitely. And shout out to Darlene who actually showed up.
Hey, darling.
What's up, Darlene? What's good? She showed in, showed out, showed up. And we appreciate her and everybody who showed up, even virtually, who gave your commentary.
Great. All right. So it's been a lot in the news this week. Do you want to see what's been happening?
Let's do it.
Okay. So I'm sure many of you, if not all, have heard about the tragedy at the Astroworld Festival featuring rapper Travis Scott. Happened on November the 5th. There were 8 casualties in that, and we just want to say rest in peace to those that were lost.
Rest in
Looks like,
peace.
yeah, we have 8 individuals here. The youngest was 14-year-old John Hilgert. Then we had some other young people. They range in age from 14 to 27. Madison Dubisky, 23. Danish Beg, 27. Axel Acosta, 21. Jacob Juranic, 20. Franco Latino, 21. Rudy Pina, 23. And Brianna Rodriguez, 16 years old. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. U.S. warns Americans to leave Haiti as security crisis deepens. Hostages remain captive. The Biden administration is urging U.S. citizens in Haiti to strongly consider returning to the United States amid a gang aggravated fuel shortage. And yeah, I was like, I said, I swear I wrote that. I read that right. A gang aggravated fuel shortage and a deteriorating security climate in which 17 Christian missionaries, including 16 Americans, have been held hostage more than 3 weeks. The message in a Friday security alert from the U.S. Embassy in Port-au-Prince came as Haiti's commercial banks and other businesses announced reduced hours starting this week. Grocery stores owners warned of coming food shortages, and the United Nations encouraged employees to stock up on emergency supplies of water, food, and other essential items. The UN can confirm that a message was sent to all UN staff on the October 28th, strongly advising them, due to the prevailing security and fuel situation, to stock at least 14 days of emergency supplies of water, food, and necessities. Daniel Dickinson, a spokesperson for the UN's political office in Port-au-Prince, said this advice is in line with the UN security and contingency planning.
Government tells 87-year-old Tampa woman her Social Security benefits will be held until she's 100. Mamie Walker is sick and tired of the government abruptly cutting her Social Security benefits, leaving her unable to pay her rent and buy food. She said it's all because of a mistake no one can explain. Walker hasn't received benefits in the past 2 months. She received a letter from the U.S. Social Security Administration saying she owes over $237,000 in overpayments and won't receive benefits again until September 2034. She would be 100 years old. Walker said she's terrified about how she'll pay her bills, and her landlord is already tacking on late fees. My kids don't have nothing to try and help me, so I'm just down in a hole, Walker said. This is the second time Walker contacted Better Call Bankin for help after her Social Security benefits were cut. In 2019, the government claimed Walker owed over $200,000 in old student loan debt. Walker, who never went to college, had no idea what that was about.
Wow. Seemed like somebody probably just hijacked her Social Security.
I mean, it sounds like elder abuse to me. I mean, 100 years old.
Yeah, I mean, $200,000 in student loan debt. I mean, first of all, even if she had that, I mean, damn, she's 100 for real. I mean, you just need to just forgive that. That's number one. And number two, yeah, that sounds definitely like somebody hijacked her Social Security for sure.
Right. I'm just saying more of, these government systems not taking care of our elder citizens, which is shameful. I mean, the other week we did a story about a woman, I believe about the same age, the city of Sacramento trying to put her out of her home. And it's just shameful.
Yep, agreed. Our Minister Bernice King goes in on Biden's 450,000 border family proposal. Why not consider reparations for Black Americans or Black America? Unconfirmed reports that President Joe Biden is considering paying $450,000 each to people separated from their families at the southern border over the Trump administration's zero tolerance policy have upset the daughter of civil rights icon Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Immigrant families were separated from their children after crossing the border from Mexico into the U.S. seeking asylum. Quote, my heart is extremely heavy right now, unquote. Bernice King said in a video she posted on Twitter, while I, like so many of you, care deeply for the families separated at our borders and believe that assisting them is the just thing to do, I question how the president of this nation has it in his heart to consider this without expressing and working to fulfill the need for reparations for Black people who have endured generations of physical and relational, psychological, and legislative, and yes, economic trauma, aka the wealth gap. I just put in aka the wealth gap.
Did you? Yes. Well, yeah, a lot of people aren't happy about this $450,000 proposed payment to illegal immigrants. I did see Biden walk that back last week. Sometimes said that it's not going to happen, but I don't know where it's at from there. I also saw a headline. I don't have the information, but something about documents being sent to the illegal immigrants from the government. So I'll have to take a deeper look at that, see what documents are being sent out on that. All right. As the bipartisan infrastructure bill passes, here's what's next for Biden's economic plans. While many Democrats let out a sigh of relief when the House passed a bipartisan infrastructure bill, the party has a grueling few weeks ahead of it to enact the rest of its economic agenda. The more than $1 trillion package passed Friday that would refresh transportation, broadband, and utilities fulfills one part of President Joe Biden's domestic vision. Democrats now have to clear multiple hurdles to enact the larger piece, a $1.75 trillion investment in social safety net and climate policy. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has said Democrats aim to pass the social spending bill by Thanksgiving. Meeting the deadline will require both chambers of Congress to rush while keeping nearly every member of a diverse Democratic caucus united, a challenge that has led to repeated roadblocks as lawmakers advance the bill this year.
Yeah, I think there might be one more. Let's see. I think there's a part two to that. No.
It's up. I thought you were going to take it.
Oh, you want me to take it? Oh, okay. I guess you pass the baton.
It's
All
your
right,
turn.
let's do it. So as the article continues, it says Biden on Saturday sounded sure that his party would line up behind a sprawling bill that it aims to sell on the midterm campaign trail next year. I feel confident that we will have enough votes to pass the Build Back Better plan, he told reporters. Biden also signaled he could sign the infrastructure bill next week after lawmakers return to Washington. Asked Monday when the president would sign the bill, White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre said, "I do not have a date, but it will be very soon." His administration plans to send key officials around the country to sell the benefits of the package. NBC News reported, citing a memo from a White House official.
And what kinds of things would you like to see happen with the infrastructure dollars?
You mean to go specifically in like my pocket or
For
outside of that
America.
or America? Yeah, this is going to be very interesting because once again we're going to be going through the bipartisan infrastructure bill, and supposedly there's another bill that's being passed, as mentioned in this article, called the Build Back Better plan. And I just have a feeling it's just going to be one of these money grab, cash grab incentives for the capitalists, and then leave pretty much all the small businesses and all the other companies, I guess they would consider small business entities, and the builders, the masons, the contractors, basically leave them out, especially the Black community. That's going to be my 2 cents. But then again, once we read the actual bill itself and go through it, we should have more information. But historically speaking, when these large amounts of money come into the economy from the government, usually Black folks are absolutely left out.
Hopefully, now that there's more of a focus on equity, they know that everybody is watching, that there'll be some equitable distribution. And I see a lot of um, infrastructure being built in order to create jobs and boost the economy. So we'll see how that goes. One of the things that they want to work on are the racist bridges in New York. Had you heard about that?
I have not.
All right. Well, let's take a look at what.
As to where we target those dollars, I'm still surprised that some people were surprised when I pointed to the fact that if a highway was built for the purpose of dividing a white and a Black neighborhood, or if an underpass was constructed such that a bus carrying mostly Black and Puerto Rican kids to a beach, or that would have been in New York, was designed too low for it to pass by, that obviously reflects racism that went into those design choices. I don't think we have anything to lose by confronting that simple reality, and I think we have everything to gain by acknowledging it and then dealing with it, which is why the Reconnecting Communities, that $1 billion, is something we want to get to work right away putting to work.
Yeah, that's all nice, but let's see if Black contractors are actually going to be hired. If those dollars are actually going to go to those Black men and women who are in the construction and other types of infrastructure plans that are supposed to be implemented, are actually going to be part of this plan. I mean, I would love to see that. I wasn't familiar about New York, as I think he stated, but I was familiar. I can't remember where it was. I think it was some community in Miami. I think they built some kind of bridge or something like that that had the same concept, where it like separated like two communities. And
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty common for them to put highways through to segregate communities. So that's, one thing that I guess could be fixed. So who posted that was Kellyanne Conway. I mean, it looks like she's back from the crypt, saying that this is not a skit. This is not I mean, this, you can't even make this stuff up, talking about the racist bridges. But then, people in the comments were coming back and saying, hey, they did create these bridges too low in order to keep, bust Black community members out. They say Black and Puerto Rican community members out. So there may have been some racism involved in those designs after all. But they say they're going to fix them. And like you said, hopefully Black people get some of that work.
yep.
The only Black woman in the U.S. who owns her own bank. Meet Kiko Davis, the majority owner and stockholder of Detroit based First Independence Bank, one of the top 10 largest Black owned banks in the United States. This makes her the only Black woman in the country who owns a bank. During a 2018 interview with Rolling Out, she said that what makes her unique as an African American female leader is her ability to genuinely connect with people and inspire a culture of synergy. It's a God given talent that comes naturally, she said. People tend to lend the very best of themselves when they feel leaders are passionate about them and their environment. Her inspiration. Kiko says she is greatly inspired by Shirley Chisholm, the first Black Congresswoman and the first majority party Black candidate to run for president in 1972. She says her favorite quote by Chisholm is, "In the end, anti Black, anti female, and all forms of discrimination are equivalent to the same thing, anti humanism." For more details about First Independent Bank and or to open an account, visit www.firstindependence.com. So you said that you weren't aware of the First Independence Bank, Umoya, huh?
Nope. Thanks for this information, Kim. I'm sure the
Yeah.
family would appreciate it too.
Oops.
And we're back. So we still got more in the news, huh?
We do.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna elaborate or improvise, but I guess not. It's all good. All right, so looks like Theo said wasn't aware either. Yep, there you go. All right, officer in Arbery murder trial testifies that Gregory McMichael never used words detain or arrest in interview. A Georgia police officer who interviewed Gregory McMichael testified on Tuesday that McMichael never used the words arrest, detain, or trespass when he spoke with him at the scene of the shooting of Black jogger Ahmaud Arbery, may he rest in power. Glenn County Police Officer Jeff Brandeberry testified on the third day of the trial of three white men, McMichael, his son Travis McMichael, and William Rhodey Bryant Jr., who are accused of chasing and killing Arbery in southeastern Georgia in February 2020. Defense attorneys have contended their clients were trying to conduct a lawful citizen's arrest of Arbery, whom they suspected of burglary after they and several neighbors had become concerned about individuals entertaining a home under construction. The defense contends Travis McMichael shot Arbery in self-defense as Arbery and Travis McMichael wrestled over McMichael's shotgun. On Tuesday, Brandeberry, one of the officers who initially interviewed Gregory McMichael at the scene, testified that Gregory McMichael appeared animated and pretty amped up when he arrived. Did he ever tell you while you were talking to him that he was attempting to make a citizen's arrest? Prosecutor Linda Denikowski asked Brandeberry. No, ma'am, Brandeberry, the state's fifth witness in the trial, replied.
No, I don't even know why a trial is needed for this. It looks like an open and shut case to me. It was clearly cold-blooded murder, and especially the guy that was filming it, he's obviously guilty. And I was listening to it a little bit on Clubhouse, and apparently this citizen's arrest law, apparently, if the information I heard was true, has been repealed after this incident. So hopefully that won't happen again with these, deputized citizens going up and making arrests. And as we see from this story, he was never told that they were making a citizen arrest. So, I mean, why would you have to stop for some random person telling you to stop?
Yeah, it should be an open and shut case, but we do live in America, and then there's a law system, that people need to go through. So, what is due process? I think that's what they call it. So, they're going through the due process.
Make it do what it do. All right. New study finds millions of California workers are functionally unemployed. Officially, California has 1.4 million unemployed residents, but a new study that takes into account people who can't find jobs that pay above poverty level says the number of functionally unemployed is 3 times higher at 4.8 million. The analysis by Ludwig Institute for Shared Economic Prosperity, an organization focused on studying the economic well-being of middle and lower income Americans, found 25.7% of California workers are functionally unemployed, meaning they are seeking but unable to find full-time employment paying above the poverty level. That's compared to the state's 7.5% unemployment rate. For Ludwig, the problem comes down to the government's current definition of employed. The Federal Bureau of Labor Statistics defines a person as employed if that person works at least 1 hour during its 7-day survey period. You were counted as employed even if you were desperate to have a full-time job, Ludwig said. To capture a more detailed view of the functionally unemployed, LISEP researchers included anyone employed, those working part-time but seeking full-time employment, and people making below $20,000.
Functionally unemployed. All these terms just to make it just plain and simple to be there's a lot of broke people out here. A lot of
Yeah,
poor people. Just to
for
keep it
sure.
real. Kyle Rittenhouse fatally shot man who was in horizontal position, pathologist testifies. One of the men fatally shot by Kyle Rittenhouse was in a horizontal position, a forensic pathologist told Wisconsin jurors Tuesday, suggesting the victim wasn't a threat when he was gunned down. Dr. Doug Kelly, a forensic pathologist with the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner, detailed the fatal gunshot suffered by Anthony Huber, 26, and Joseph Rosenbaum, 36, during an August 25th, 2020 protest of the police shooting of Jacob Blake. May rest in peace. Assistant District Attorney James Krause sought to paint Rosenbaum's killing as particularly egregious as he was falling or perpendicular when fatal shots were fired. Back to the front shots to the head and then the kill shot to the back would have been as he was falling or perpendicular to the ground, Krause said. The doctor agreed. The only way that the trajectories of the gunshot wounds to the right side of the head and the back make sense is if he's more horizontal to the ground, and that is occurring at the time the last 2 gunshot wounds are heard on the video, Kelly responded. Yeah, a lot of things, man, going on. A lot of trials are happening right now.
Yeah. So, do you have any thoughts on this this one here?
Yeah, I mean, once again, it just seems like another murder, and I don't know if anybody remembers the footage. I mean, it's been a while, but from my recollection, I just remember, this kid just walking around with the gun, just walking around like with a gun, just walking around.
Yeah.
No arrest.
Apparently, they had a face palm moment in the trial where one of the victims, they say they're not allowed to call them victims, but that's what we're going to call them here. One of the victims are they said that they held a gun, pointed a gun at him first before he started shooting. And this victim obviously lived to tell about it because he testified at trial. But what about the other victims? What did they do to deserve their fate?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I don't know. I guess as more information comes out, we'll be finding out, the truth.
We
As some
shall
people call
see.
it.
Okay. Fake news. First, we'll start with that. Elon Musk to donate $250 billion for reparations to African Americans in the U.S. Apparently, this went viral on Instagram, so some people were believing it, but it does come from a satire news source. Elon Musk's capital is significant, and this week Forbes classified him as the greatest worth more than 300 billion. But he isn't delivering most of it continuously to a single cause. A viral Instagram post states Elon Musk to grant 250 billion to payments to African Americans in the US. The post, which looks like a video scrolling by what seems to be the top of an internet data story, was hailed as a member of Facebook's struggle to fight fake news and misinformation on its newsfeed. But this case started on a site named Viral Cocaine, where the About Us part states that it's a sarcastic news blog regarding everything hip hop personalities and public folklore. Because who deserves to listen to the truth when a story is more interesting? The viral cocaine story involves fabricated quotes attached to people involving Dragon Master Adolph White of the North Carolina chapter of the Ku Klux Klan and Antoine Morehouse of the Atlanta division of the recently restored Black Panther Party. So fake news, they're over here playing with Black people's emotions. It's not funny. It's not a joke. And reparations now. But when I first saw the headline myself, I was like, I had to take a double take. I was like, oh, maybe they are listening to, Cash and his 40 acres and a Tesla claim. Reparations in a Tesla.
Yep. Sorry about. Please forgive the misspelling, but I think y'all know what I mean. Crash tragedy. Travis Scott.
Crush.
Oh, did I say crash? I did say crash, right? Crush tragedy. Travis Scott will pay for Astroworld victims' funerals and refund tickets after horror stampede as lawsuits mount. Rapper Travis Scott says he'll cover the funeral costs of the 8 victims who died in the violent crowds of his Astroworld concert following a slew of lawsuits from surviving victims. A number of injury lawyers, including famed civil rights attorney Ben Crump, are claiming that festival organizers failed to provide adequate security measures to prevent the stampedes that injured hundreds of concert goers. On Monday, 11 more lawsuits were issued against Scott, Drake, and Astroworld Festival organizers Live Nation for gross negligence. Civil rights attorney Crump on Tuesday announced he will file a lawsuit on behalf of the father, a 9-year-old boy who was catastrophically injured at the festival. Concerts and music festivals such as this are meant to be a safe place for people of all ages to enjoy music in a controlled environment. None of that was true about the Astroworld's festival. The little boy is currently fighting for his life, and his parents will never know the same child they entered Astroworld with. Scott, whose real name is Jaquez Berman Webster II, will also refund the cost of all the tickets.
Just really a tragic story with this little guy right here. He was there with his dad. His dad had him hoisted up on his shoulders during the concert when the crash started to happen. His father actually fainted. So when he woke up, he didn't have no idea where his son even was. He ended up at the hospital where they were reunited, but just really, really a tragic story. Have you had a chance to see Travis Scott, his statement that he made after the incident?
I think I did see it, but to be honest with you, I'm not even gonna front. I just really wasn't paying attention. I mean, I think all I recall is him saying something like he appreciates his fans or something like that. I don't know.
Let's take a look and see how authentic this apology. I don't even think we can call it an apology.
I just want to send out prayers to the ones that was lost last night. We're actually working right now to identify the families so we can help assist them through this tough time. You know, my fans really mean the world to me, and I always just really want to leave them with a positive experience. And anytime I can make out, anything that's going on, I stop the show and, help them get the help they need, I could just never imagine the severity of the situation. We've been working closely with everyone to just try to get to the bottom of this. The City of Houston, HPD, Fire Department, everyone to, help us figure this out. So if you have any information, please just contact your local authorities. Everybody continue to just keep your prayers. I mean, I'm honestly just devastated, and I could never imagine anything like this just happening. And I'm gonna do everything I can to keep you guys updated and just keep you guys informed on what's going on. Love you all.
All right. Well, maybe there wasn't an apology, but at least he gave, some prayers out there according to what we saw. So
Yeah, thoughts and prayers. All right, latest Sunday service dedicated to Astroworld victims. Kanye West. Kanye West wants to honor the victims who died at Astroworld, and he's using his religious vehicle of Sunday service to do just that. The rapper's latest spiritual music gathering is going on right now, so apparently they wrote this story on Sunday when the service was actually going on. And before things officially got underway at around 1 p.m. PST, there was a message posted on behalf of Kanye and co. reading, "Sunday service dedication to the loved ones of Astroworld." Obviously, Ye is referring to the 8 people who died while Travis Scott was performing Friday night, not to mention the countless others who suffered injuries to varying degrees. And we have a little snippet here of the Sunday service tribute.
It's the kingdom, and the power, and the power, and the glory forever, forever. It's the kingdom, and the power, and the power, and the glory forever, forever. It's the kingdom, and the power, and the power, and the glory forever, forever. It's the kingdom, and the power, and the power, and the glory forever, forever.
That's a nice tribute from Ye.
yep, he's doing his thing, man, as Yeezy does.
All right. And so the more that I've been, delving into this Travis Scott this incident, obviously there were a lot of ritualistic symbolism involved in that. And I just started thinking that, maybe Travis didn't even know the gravitude of what he was doing. And somebody made a point of, oh, he's not even smart enough. A black guy not even smart enough to put this together. Someone else commented back. You've heard of record labels, right? So I know that you have some experience in the record industry. I mean, how much do you think this might have been his idea or his handler's idea or the people in charge?
That's hilarious. Well, the incident is not hilarious,
No.
obviously, but yeah, I do have a little experience in the music industry, and look, I don't believe in that whole Illuminati stuff. It is what it is. I mean, was there some symbolism in there? Possibly. I mean, artists are creative, and some people use their own ideas and concepts in their own art, and I mean that could have some kind of energy involved in whatever. But I mean, for me, I'm just staying away from this whole conspiracy thing until more information is put out there. I mean, what I've seen so far is I just saw a stampede that happened. That's all I've seen so far, and that's all I'm aware of. How that came about and who may have started that stampede, I don't know. That's why, one of our, or the, I should say, our sayings on here are motto is like facts over fiction, right? On this platform, I think we try to deal with more of the facts instead of like the fiction and the conspiracy thing. I don't have a
I mean,
problem.
but it's facts. I mean, what's not facts? I mean,
I don't.
don't
I mean,
believe your lying eyes. I mean, we saw with our own eyes.
well, I mean, as I said before, I didn't see, and I'd have to look at it to see, this whole kind of idea about it being ritualistic. I mean, it might be there, but as I said before, I mean, I'd have to take a look at it, and people can make up their own ideas.
But how much
And
creative control do these artists actually have, or are these people putting these themes together for them? Or
I,
I guess it just depends.
it just depends. I mean, every artist has their perspective and what they want to do. I know. I think most artists though, like, have to approve like what's going on. That's if they have control of their own, concept, brand, and all that other stuff. I know Prince did, and Prince was like, "I'm not letting nobody do nothing unless I approve of it. That's off and on stage, right? As much as he can control." So, this whole kind of like ritualistic thing. I mean, it might be, but I mean, that's something you have to prove. I think more importantly, though, we have to look at like the incident itself, like what attributed to the stampede, instead of kind of looking at all this frivolous, things about it being like a ritual. Like, okay, I mean, even if that's might be the case, there was still a point in there where somebody started the stampede, right? So, I mean, you can't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody can prove or have it be some information in terms of why they did that. But if you're going to go to a court of law and you're going to say, okay, this is the incidents and the evidence that happened. When you go into a court of law, you need to prove that this was it. And I mean, for me, like, we can go on to this whole conspiracy thing, but at the end of the day, if you're looking at forensic evidence, you just have to look at what the evidence is there.
Yeah,
That's
apparently there were lots of variables that led to the incident. There was some overcrowding. People broke through the barricades. They don't know how many hundreds just bum rushed the fence to get in. So there was some overcrowding issues there. But also, Travis Scott apparently tweeted out before the show encouraging people to break down barriers or something about we're going to get the wild ones in, even though the show was sold out. So I could see that they might find some responsibility in him inciting fans to, to to bust into the venue.
Yeah, I think it was like a VIP section, if I recall correctly, according to the
There was a
news.
VIP section involved.
So I heard like people just bum rush that area, and then that's kind of how like the stampede started. But I don't know. I mean, I'd have to look into it, more. But we've been a little busy over here.
Been a little busy. And then my other thing is, okay, aren't we still in a global pandemic? So not one person had on a mask. Crammed in there, 50,000 people. Like they said, you couldn't even move. You couldn't even raise your hand. Couldn't do anything. But all these people with no mask on. I guess it's an open air venue, so it's okay.
I guess so. People were doing what they was doing, having a good old time, so.
All
I mean, you
right.
see
And
this
then
all the time.
another one of the other possible variables, and we'll just take a listen to what the police chief had to say about it. But apparently, somebody was in there with hypodermic needles, shooting people up with some sort of substance.
Of the families and make sure that we follow the facts and the evidence. And that's what we're trying to do here in the Houston Police Department. I will tell you, one of the narratives was that some individual was injecting other people with drugs. We do have a report of a security officer, according to the medical staff that was out and treated him last night, that he was reaching over to restrain or grab a citizen, and he felt a prick in his neck. When he was examined, he went unconscious. They administered Narcan. He was revived, and the medical staff did notice a prick that was similar to a prick that you would get if somebody's trying to inject.
Wow. Crazy.
So do you think this is going to change the way that these big concert venues and festivals are run? You think there's going to be some new regulations?
Probably not.
Do you have experience with a lot of these large festival type venue events?
Well, did you say a lot of experience or just experience?
Some. Any.
Yes, I do have experience with, larger venues. And I mean,
can you say anything that you would have done differently? I know that you haven't really.
I mean, I can't speak to that because I'm not security. I've never been involved in the whole security side of things, so I wouldn't know. Shout out to our man. Dang, what? Citizen Edge. I was almost forgetting the brother's name. Citizen Edge. He might have even talked about this on his platform. And I do
have to swing by and see.
Yeah, and I do know somebody close to me who's in security and a police officer. So maybe they might have some ideas about how they would have thought about going about this. But I mean, then again, you're talking about, I can't even remember how many. I mean, there's so many people there. I mean, you're talking bum rushing the stage, right? And what are you going to do? You have like 5, 6 people maybe up at the front, and then you have security guards on the side. So, I mean, actually, when I saw the videotape, I literally saw the security guards there. They were just mauling all past them, just rammed right through that area. So, do I think that there might be some other security measures in particular for Travis Scott? Yeah, possibly in the future. But
not only Travis Scott, but all of these concerts. And once the security was breached like that with all of those people running in, should that have been cause to, I don't know, cancel the show or do something?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that question, as I said before, because I'm not security. Uh, that would have probably been a good idea. The only footage that I did see that I recall is I think he was still performing while like this whole barrage of people just coming to the stage. Did you see that clip when he was still performing? Like when people were passing out?
Yeah,
Now that
I
that
did
was
see
kind of
that.
crazy. I was just like, you don't see people like passing out and you still doing your thing. That was a little odd to me. Like if I was performing and I performed on stage before, usually I can kind of see out, I mean, I haven't performed that many people, you know what I mean? But usually you can kind of see what's going on in the crowd. I think you should as a performer, you should kind of see what's going on. Obviously he was in his zone doing whatever he was doing. So don't know.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people were in a trance-like state. Um, yeah.
There
All
you
right. Well, that's
That's
it
about
for
it.
our show. Unless you have anything else, any other commentary you'd like to add?
No, not really. We are actually going to be in our reparations now documentary that we are working on. Our trailer is actually going to be part of a local film festival here in Sacramento. I don't know, Kim, I don't think we have a flyer for that, do we?
We don't have it
Okay, we don't
uploaded,
but
unfortunately.
yeah, we're going to actually have a trailer, our reparations now trailer, which we're going to be working on. We're in pre-production right now, and we're planning on principal photography sometime in 2020. We're actually getting our GoFundMe campaign working. So like once that's up and running, we're gonna let the fam know because we greatly appreciate your contribution to this work that we're doing because this is for the community and hopefully to shed some light on the reparations movement at hand.
Yeah, and since you mentioned it, we do have a couple extra tickets. So anybody in the Sacramento or surrounding areas that would come out, like to come out, nice little film festival at the Guild Theater in Sacramento. Hit us up at etmmediagroup@gmail.com, etmmediagroup@gmail.com, and let us know. We'll put you on the will call list.
Yes, you got you told them 12 hours, was it, or 24?
Um, Hit us up as soon as possible. Let's say by noon tomorrow. If we
Yeah.
have your request by noon tomorrow, we'll get you on that will call list.
Yes, noon tomorrow in Sacramento. Did you say the time when it's gonna be again?
Doors open at 2. Screening starts at 3.
3, okay. And I forgot, is it Saturday or Sunday?
It's
Can't remember.
Saturday.
Saturday. Okay, cool. Saturday. So first person, email us. If y'all don't email us, it's the first person who does email us. Put it like in the subject header, film festival tickets or whatever, and then we'll hit you back with the information and details and so forth, so we can put you on the list. So
Yeah,
yeah, just one.
come out and to a screening. It should be good. There's a nice compilation of black short films. I know I'm excited to see some of them. Yeah, so should be good.
It should be family. I guess on that note,
All right, so I guess we will leave you with a redistricting video, even though I believe our redistricting duties are officially ended since the maps were due on November 7th. So, well, we need to get back into the system and take a look at the maps that people drew up for Sacramento to see, what some of these redistricting ideas might look like.
Absolutely.
All right, fam. Until next time.